Hello and welcome to another episode of the Gohndim and Gilmore Show. Today's episode is brought to you by the Boston News Network, the only new age digital newspaper that brings you only the facts. And I'm joined today with my special co-host, Gilmore. Gilmore, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How you been?
I am alive, that's all I can say. And feeling very racist today, so.
Well, I like the first part of that, not so much the second, but I'm glad to have you on the pod.
And speaking of people who used to be feeling racist but are reformed now, our special guest today is Lisaisablogger. Lisa, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Hello, I'm Lisaisablogger. I do a bit of like a YouTube. I have a little bit of a YouTube under Lisa is a Blogger. And also, I do some blogging. Lots of times I'm just like whinging out about something these days. I used to write pretty decently, but like I have a blog at ocdbloggergirl.wordpress.com, and I'm 47 and disabled, and that's about it.
Lisa, I must say that was quite the poor introduction because you did yourself a disservice. Lisa is one of the most prominent members of the Twitch politics community, or formerly the Twitch politics community, a regular in many great chats like the old Bastiat stream, the old Tory News stream. She's widely known. She's got a great YouTube channel. We'll link her blog and her YouTube in the show notes. Lisa is one of the OGs of Twitchpol, and her name is recognized all across this space. So one of the founding grandmothers, I think, of Twitchpol.
Why, thank you.
And an incredible writer, for the record. Today's plan is just to go through some questions from our audience. We got a bunch of questions from our Discord community, and then we actually got some questions from Lisa's friends, Beefeater and GDC. I think between Lisa, GDC, and Beef and myself, we've probably been in together, like, I don't know, anywhere from half a dozen to a dozen different group chats over the past 6 years or so. And so there's a lot of history there, and we'll see what kind of questions that they came up with. So,
yeah.
And Lisa, if you have any questions for us, please feel free to ask, okay?
Okay, sounds good. You're a lawyer?
Yeah, I am.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, Lisa, our server skews with a lot of like Jewish lawyers because a lot of these people are like transplants from the Pisco community, the Pisco 95, where I was recently banned because a mod was trying to sexually harass me. So it's a very fucked up situation, but we kind of made our own enclave here.
I'm so sorry that happened to you, and I hope you get justice.
He kept calling me like a femboy, and like that I was his number one femboy or something. Like he was really trying to like force transition me, I feel like. So
that's horrible.
Well, Lisa, if it makes you feel better, we have a matter going on small claims court, so we'll see what happens.
Based.
It's small because his penis is very tiny. Anyway, from Deegs. This is from Deegs. He says, for everybody on the cast, if you were locked in a room and aggressive 8-year-olds that tried to kill you were put into that room one at a time every 10 minutes, how long would you last before you got overwhelmed? Anyone want to take it first?
Yes, I'll go ahead. I would probably be killed within about 5 or 10 minutes because I'm not very strong and I'm not very fast and I'm kind of fat. But the good thing about being fat is that it'll probably hit my vital organs just a little bit less fast than one of you thin people.
So you'd die before they added the first 8-year-old to the room? They're added every 10 minutes, so.
Oh, there's more than one 8-year-old? I was thinking I'd probably be killed by the first 8-year-old. But
so you'd last probably like 10 to 11 minutes.
Yeah, then I'd be going down faster than poor George Floyd.
Oh my God. No. Gilmore, how long would you last with 8-year-olds?
Well, I don't like how you phrase it that way. But going back to the actual hypo about bringing in one every 10 minutes, I think that, so 8 years old is 3rd grade, I think, approximately. So I think
you would know, yeah. Thank you for that.
I don't think I would, but
I was going to try to look that up, but thanks for that context.
I think I'd be able to beat at least 50 or so before getting overwhelmed by them. So like 500 minutes or so.
500 minutes, so that's like, huh. I feel like that's not a very long time. I think the real answer here is like, I'd probably just die of exhaustion after a while. I mean, one every 10 minutes, it's pretty easy to like snap someone's neck. So I feel like I'd make it at least like 24 hours, probably somewhere between like 24 hours and 36 hours, I'd say. I'd probably just die of like exhaustion or hunger. Unless you like, you can't sleep, right? So what the fuck?
Well, I think you would die of hunger in like 24 hours.
Well, like just exhaustion. Like you're gonna get tired, like killing all these little 8-year-olds, right? And I'm not gonna eat like
Sure,
raw
sure.
8-year-old flesh or something, and you're gonna be tired and hungry
Well,
and
can you have food?
thirsty. Wasn't in the hypo.
So maybe, who knows?
Did you say they had a knife?
No, he didn't specify any weapon, so maybe I could have a machine gun and then I'd live forever. So, or like a
Oh, well,
like
I thought, I want to reframe my question. I was thinking that the kid would stab me to death for some reason. But never mind about that. If it's actually die, you mean? It'd probably take a little while because they'd have to give me some severe head trauma or something first. So I might make it about a couple of hours.
I agree. You might actually beat Gilmore for number 2. That might be good. Our next question comes from this very low IQ member of our community, Dispel. He asks to name 5 objects with more personality than Ariana Grande. Now, this is clearly a personal attack aimed at me, Lisa. I just want to ask you, have you seen Wicked? And do you plan to see Wicked 2 coming up shortly here?
I have never seen Wicked. Is it really good?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's great. It's fantastic.
I'll believe y'all. I like musicals.
Lisa, this might be your biggest betrayal yet. I mean, I'm such an Ariana Grande fan. I mean, you can vouch back from the OG Bastia days. I came in there with Ariana Grande, been this way my entire life, and you haven't even seen Wicked.
Yes, but I've heard a few of her songs, and some of them are actually pretty good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think the next movie comes out in a couple weeks, so you should see the first one soon, Lisa.
Okay.
To actually answer Dispel's question, it'd be very hard to actually name 5 objects with more personality than Ariana Grande, but there's almost infinite items that have more personality than you, Dispel. Good luck, buddy, on your streams. The next question comes from our mutual friend, Granddad Christmas, a great moderator of this community. He says, Lisa, now that you only have 1 cat, are you within the terms of your lease? Do you prefer 1 cat, or do you wish you had more?
Well, the terms of my lease is 2 cats, but I have only 1, and I'm pretty content with it. If the cat distribution system were to bless me with another cat, I would be very happy for it. But I'm pretty content with just 1 cat.
I find that a little hard to believe, and I'm surprised GDC didn't ask this question because you used to feed a fuck ton of strays too. Do you remember that story about the Jewish dentist who like ratted you out about feeding the strays or something? I think that was the start of your maybe allegedly anti-Semitic arc. I mean, I think that was just a response to that guy being a dick. But how many strays do you currently feed?
Only 1, and she's not really that much of a stray anymore because the doctor that currently owns the office or rents it, she must have gotten, I'm assuming it's a she because there's a man and a woman there, and usually I would think that maybe the female doctor would probably be more inclined to feed the cat. Anyway, I think they must have gotten some sort of agreement with the nice Jewish dentist that owns the place, and she's probably paying him or something to not kill the cat or whatever. So
wait, Lisa, are you an anti-dentite?
no, I love dentists. I love Jewish dentists. In fact, the dentist office I go to now is headed by a man with a Jewish name. So, and I love Jews.
I hate the dentist. The dentist is like one of the worst places to go to. I'd rather go get like a, what's it called, like a rectal exam or something. Oh my god, the dentist is terrible.
I think I'd rather go to the dentist than have a rectal exam, but maybe you swing on certain ways. I don't know.
Well, you have to give the times. It's 2025, Lisa.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, every hole's a goal, I guess.
And GDC actually asked a follow-up question. I'm not sure how this was related, but he said, "What is the coolest thing you have ever found in a dumpster?"
The coolest thing, let's see, probably, I've found 2 TVs, but unfortunately I broke one of them. But like, I would say that the coolest thing I ever found was a flat screen TV years ago that still works. It has a couple of glitches here and there, but like, it works for the most part.
You found a fully functional flat screen TV in a dumpster?
I've found 2, but unfortunately the second one I accidentally pixelated.
With the
Oh my
remotes there
God.
too?
On the one that I pixelated, it did have the remote with it. Yes, they had put it by the side of the dumpster. And another thing that I really appreciated was somebody left a perfectly good um, one of those like carts that that you'll see elderly people with that have that go get their groceries. Somebody left that by the side of the dumpster too, and and before that I only had this like really crappy Aldi one that I had that was a little bit bent with age and work, and it's not very big and good one. But this one's like one of those really expensive, sturdy ones. I think it was probably the same person that dropped the television.
Lisa, well, actually, this next question is for Gilmore. This is from Mirror1414. Gilmore, what is your favorite phrase from the Epstein emails?
So my favorite phrase, and I saw the question beforehand, so I made sure I had a copy of it in front of me so I could read it word for word, is an email dated May 9th, 2015. And the one part of the email I liked the most was that there was a joke in the email. And I'll ask you guys the question. You guys can kind of guess the answer. Um, what's a gay guy's favorite time of day?
I mean, I've seen the answer in the chat, so
Oh, Lisa, what's your guess?
The best time of day for a gay. Um, Maybe high noon.
oh my
That's a good
God.
guess. It's 8 o'clock.
Oh my
Was
God.
that Epstein's
Yeah, that was in the
humor?
Epstein emails that were released by the House committee.
Your favorite moment was a homophobic moment where he fucked up.
Well, I wouldn't say it's homophobic, but
Well, you wouldn't. That's fucked up. Um, Lisa, the next question comes from a mutual, I keep saying mutual friend, but maybe an old acquaintance of ours. Do you remember the ineffable Nate Swade?
Yes. I love Nate Swade. He's great.
Probably the most underrated streamer on Twitch, but partially that was because he didn't really want to be a streamer, I don't think. He didn't do all the streamer things, very cool shows, was very into monetary policy and just shitposting, and a big doomer, but a really smart guy. He said, "I agree that MacArthur, meaning Douglas MacArthur, should have nuked China in order to win the Korean War. Is this a morally neutral take? What do you think on that, Lisa?"
I would say that it's probably not a good thing to use the nukes again. So I think probably, even though we didn't quite win the Korean War, as I recall, because it's partitioned off. But um, I don't think we should have nuked China.
yeah. Do you think it was justified to nuke Japan?
I have mixed feelings about it. Like, I'm assuming that probably the war would have ended eventually, but um, you know, I know that they dropped pamphlets on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but like, you know, I'm not sure that it was worth the cost of human life, but it may have saved human lives, and so it's a nuanced thing that I'm not sure that I could really really I would say I would be more inclined to not do that. because of. However, I think it's very complicated because Japan sort of came into the industrial age and everything. Even though they're in a recession now, they were doing well for a while there.
Just a few things. Lisa, when you say you have mixed thoughts, I mean, I'm a little confused because Japanese society is not a mixed society. They're very anti-foreigner. They hate white people that come over there and fuck their women and breed with their women. They're a very exclusive society. It's something that, they're not mixed at all. And then secondly, I think the proper take on both of these issues is that one, we should have nuked more Japanese cities. We should have nuked Kyoto and Tokyo as well, in addition to Nagasaki and Hiroshima. And for the Korean War, we absolutely should have created a nuclear dead zone between China and North Korea. Look at the festering blotch of communism and cruelty that North Korea is on the Korean Peninsula. If we would have, cut that off from Chinese support and created a nuclear dead zone around there, it would have saved a lot of lives. That's my opinion. I also think that we became a little cocked ourselves in World War II at the end when Patton wanted to, more or less take the Third Army to into the Soviets and fight Stalin at the time. We probably should have done that as well. Would have saved a lot of lives, a lot of suffering, and the world would have been a better place. I hope we get some based neoconservatives into power here in 2028 and kind of right the course, and maybe we'll start nuking people again.
Well, I'm not exactly sure that because the Soviets were considered our allies at the time. I think we should have stopped them from what they did in Germany after they liberated the concentration camps. They did atrocities on people, but I don't. They were our allies allegedly at some point in World War II. So I think turning around and trying to decimate them would probably not have been a good idea. And back then, the Soviet Union was much bigger than Russia is. So I'm not a very good historian, but Russia has been a thorn in our side for many years, though. No offense to the Russian people as a people, though.
Yeah, I mean,
Fair.
the number of rapes alone that the Soviets inflicted on the German population when they liberated, air quotes, Berlin is atrocious. I mean, the Soviet crimes during those final days of the war were disgusting. So I fully agree that we should have drove into Soviet Russia and completely slaughtered those people and liberated the world from their tyranny. I mean, look at how much more free and prosperous all the former Eastern Bloc countries would have been. But we live in an age where we feel like we have to be nice to everyone just because they're our allies at one point. And, it's a very cuck society that we live in. And the start of that was sadly at the end of World War II. So.
Yes, but if we had turned around on the Soviet Union at that particular time, wouldn't we have screwed up a whole lot of potential allies that we might have the United Nations, for what good it does, might not have started. However, I think well, actually, it was after the Turks in World War One that Zionism flourished. So, I have no problem with Israelis immigrating over our future Israelis immigrating over there, but I do have a problem with how it came into fruition and how they overpowered the Palestinian people. That's the only thing, and I didn't mean to start in on that.
No, we can get into that in a little bit, but before we get into Israel-Palestine, speaking of the Turks, here's a question from Pisco, actually, in our server. He asks, How will Turkey's push for strategic autonomy and pan-Turkic influence reshape power dynamics in the Caucasus and Central Asia?
Oh, I'm. When was that? Like, are you talking about during the Ottoman Empire, or?
So he didn't say when. I'm assuming now, though. I think it's a more modern
Well,
question.
I've always had a great liking for the Turkish people. They're very nice. The ones I've met on Discord. Shout out to Tequila Sun, not Tequila Sunset. He's from Brazil. Where's the other guy? God damn it, Wig, and shout out to I Wrestle Leaves. It's wonderful to know you guys if you ever hear this. So
And Hassan.
this is, oh yeah, Hassan's from
Yep.
Turkey. I'm not an exceptionally big fan of Hassan, but I don't think he's the worst human being in the world. I just not a big fan.
That's fair.
Turkish? What the hell?
As to the modern day Turkey, from the little bit I know they don't have a whole lot of free speech and such as that, but they're a fairly modern society, um, and a lot more progressive than their Middle Eastern
Yep.
counterparts. And I don't mean that as an insult to the Middle East.
No, that's fine. And Gohndim, just so you know, I know you were kind of confused by Hassan being Turkish. He actually converted recently from Turkish to Palestinian, so maybe that's why you're confused.
Gotcha. I mean, every time I hear about Turkey, all I think about is the Turkish lira, which the inflation rate, I just looked it up year over year. The last year is like 33%. 1,000 Turkish lira in the year 2000 would now, the equivalent of that is 70,000. So I think Turkey needs to fix its own internal monetary policy. Erdogan is a fucking idiot. And a stronger Turkey is not good for anyone. So at least I helped you out on that one a little bit.
I appreciate it.
We've got a question from Thorsten, and I'm really interested in both your guys' answers to this one. He says, what do you view as your furthest left issue, and what is your furthest right issue? So on what issue are you the furthest to the right and furthest to the left? Gilmore, let's start with you.
Okay, that's a good question. Thank you, Thorsten. I would say I'm the most right on. I think we should bring back kind of like patriotism and being proud of your country. So I think the left could learn something from the right in terms of that. The furthest left issue is that I probably support some sort of not quite Medicare for all, but something approaching it. So that's probably my most far left issue.
Lisa, do you want to give your answers?
The furthest left I would think is I believe that within reason, of course, that you should be able to uh, be the gender that you wish to be, and not have to conform to a certain um, sexual mores for gender stereotypes and gender norms. I personally ever, I've never had any type of gender issues, but I feel for the people that have, and I feel that our government is blaming a very tiny part of society for a lot of things. And then my other most left thing is I'm not sure that we should be restricting immigration except for people who are violent offenders or such as that. Violent offenders or people who have communicable diseases that are very communicable.
And what is your furthest right issue, Lisa?
Oh goodness. Hmm. Uh, probably, probably, um, free trade is probably my rightest issue. Like I, I tend to think that we're better off as a society with free trade. Um, I know that's not popular among some of my further left friends, the neoliberal thing,
Mhm.
but I do believe that when we have trade with other countries and it's relatively free, uh, all of us benefit to a degree. Now, this isn't always the truth because there are a lot of sweatshops, and I don't know exactly how you're supposed to how they should proceed with that. But if they know if they know that something's being made by slave labor or children or something like that, I think we really shouldn't be allowing that. But if they, have a certain code or something like that, I think we should probably uh, have free trade with China and various other countries.
I think that the United States should freely benefit from child labor, slave labor. What happens in another country's sovereign borders are none of our business unless they have like raw materials that we can extract and exploit, would be my kind of opinion on the matter. Or if they're like, impacting one of our allies that we need to defend. To answer Thorson's question, my furthest left issue, I don't know, it's tough. I don't have many of those. I'd say I'd probably be okay with like abortion up to like 12 weeks or something. And then I'd be okay with like gays having like civil unions. I really wish that we would have overturned Obergefell though. I think marriage is a little too far. I think a civil union, something like one step down from the sacrament of like getting married would be a good compromise that I'd be willing to go to the left on a little bit just to maintain stability in society. For this right issue, I am for kind of a full-blown institutionalized eugenics program. Um, yeah, so that's my answer. We have a
That's
question.
nice.
What's that?
I said that's nice.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this in the past, and we have some disagreements on how it would actually be implemented and executed. But I think, given the constraints around human capital and the need, and AI is going to replace a lot of laborers anyway, we're not going to need as many people, and we're kind of moving to a society where some of the rich people, the 1%, kind of the people that are in my class, are going to need less people to do work for them. And so I think we need to intentionally manage societal level populations, at least in developed Western democracies. And honestly, that transition might require us to no longer become or be Western democracies. We might have to move into a better suited form of government, I think.
So are you MAGA or something?
I'd say I'm conveniently MAGA. I tend to vote, in my best economic interest. If Trump were to get rid of the capital gains tax, I would be thrilled. I'd prefer there was a stronger neoconservative type figure in the office, like a John Bolton or something, but he's currently being persecuted. A Mitt Romney president would be fucking fantastic. I would have voted for Nikki Haley and Chris Christie over Trump in the primary, even though Chris Christie is a little large and probably needs some Ozempic. So I wouldn't say I'm MAGA. I would say that I'm kind of forced to be MAGA because that's where the party's at.
All right. I guess, that's whatever floats your boat, I guess. But aren't you concerned about some of the civil rights issues and such as that?
I mean, maybe me 10 years ago would have been, but I was a little bit confused and didn't have as much money as I do now. So I would say I'm for restricting or eroding a bunch of civil rights and civil liberties. I think we need to do it in a way that is slow, calculated, and kind of makes people think that they still have most of the rights that they still have. It's one of those theories where it's like if you take one thing away at a time and you distract with other news and stuff. I mean, Trump, that's one thing Trump is really good at. So you have to give him his kudos for that. I
It's like
think
the
we could,
frog in the boiling pot, right?
yeah, that's a good example. The boiling water, you just kind of become desensitized to it. So my hope is that we live in a totally different society and state within the next 20 years. And I'm picturing one where we've used AI to supplant at least 50% of the unskilled workforce. And the people that do want jobs, they can go work making doodads and doohickeys for $3 an hour in these government camps, and they're, provided a very base level of sustenance. And really, I think it'd be probably the most fulfilling life that they could have at that point, because otherwise they'd be dying in the streets, probably addicted to fentanyl and some other, option. So it probably is the best option for them.
Well, Gohndim, you should add in your plan for Greenland also. I don't think Lisa knows it.
I don't want to get into that here. That's a longer geopolicy,
Okay.
Foreign policy type discussion. But moving on, another island. This is from Hammock. He says, if you went to Epstein Island, what activities would you partake in? Now, this was kind of a disgusting question. I'll give it to Lisa first, though.
What all did he? Well, I suppose the place had a pool, right?
You would swim in the pool? Yeah, it's probably better. I don't really
swim
like
in the
swimming in the
pool.
ocean. Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer swimming in the pool, but I'd also go to the ocean if it's not polluted and it's not and it's warm. I'm assuming that it's in the Atlantic Ocean, so it's probably warm and near the equator. And if it's not got a lot of undercurrents and reefs and whatnot, that would or rock, I would probably swim in it. And let's see, what else did the dinner parties from the Michael Wolff stuff? It sounds like they ate some crappy stuff, and I wouldn't want to sit next to Woody Allen at all. And I might get drunk or something if I wasn't if I wasn't seeing crimes or something. I imagine it's sort of like the Diddy thing. There's probably some people who went to Epstein Island and never saw a darn thing, but if I didn't know that they were not seeing a bunch of teenagers, I'd go swimming. I'd eat some buffet. You know, uh, hope for like a room with a balcony, that sort of thing.
Like a nice vacation. I can see that. Gilmore?
Yeah,
What do you got for
the nice Caribbean or Mediterranean. I'm not sure which one.
Okay. I would probably try to play like tetherball or something. But yeah, probably tetherball.
I can see you doing that. I think I'm going to stick with Lisa's answer. I think I'll just spend most of my time swimming. I really love swimming. Don't like swimming in the ocean that much, but the pool would be nice. This next question comes from our good friend Beefeater. He says, Lisa, I enjoy reading your blog from time to time. Have you ever thought about self-publishing a collection of blog posts or reading old blog posts on TikTok? Not a bad idea. Lisa, what do you think?
Well, I don't know if I would be a very good TikToker, because it's more the young crowd doing that. I mean, I've seen people older than shit on there, but like, I'm not sure about that. But I could definitely see, like, I'm more partial to my earlier posts most of the time. Occasionally, I would make something decent after my mother passed away, which is the majority of the blog, actually. But like, I think the first 2 years of my blog was probably the best.
And we'll link to that again, too. I think you're underselling yourself a little bit. Her blog is fantastic. Be sure to check it out in the show notes below. Also from Beefeater, and this has a strange Gilmore connection, which we'll explain later. But Beef says, do you think the contemporary femcel movement is full of posers, or do you identify with them?
I do believe that if I put myself out there, because I'm female, I think I could probably hook up with someone, because I've had a few offers over the years, but it just hasn't really come to fruition. And I I just don't like see myself having a very close relationship with someone. I would like to, but I value my solitude is too much to want to live with someone.
I can definitely feel that. Gilmore, do you want to explain the femcell connection?
Well, I mean, it was a long time ago. I don't know how much I want to really get into it, but some say I was there when the term was coined, but we'll leave it at that for now.
All right, maybe some content for a future episode. This comes from GDC. I think he might have been trolling here a little bit, Lisa, so feel free to insult him. He says, if you ever republish your blog as an edited collection, would you pause every few paragraphs to apologize, or would you double down and explain how you were actually right? Kind of a fucked up question from GDC.
What part of my blog would I need to apologize for?
That is a good fucking question. We'll get GDC's ass on here and ask him that question. GDC says, if time travel was real, what extremely petty thing would you fix?
I would like write all of my awkward things I've done when I was younger, that I wish I hadn't done, been more polite, that sort of thing.
I'm trying to think what I would actually travel back in time for. I don't think there'd be very much. Like, I'm not big on like going back and changing decisions, I guess. I don't know. It's a weird one to think about.
I think
I
the
couldn't
petty
kill
thing I would
baby Hitler.
change. Oh, that's a good one.
I didn't hear it. What was it?
I couldn't kill baby Hitler, but maybe adult Hitler, but
All those
not
things
baby
are
Hitler.
all those hypotheticals are a little boring to me. I'm talking like in my personal life. Like, where would you actually go back and change something or experience something again for the first time? I don't know if there's many places I would actually choose to do that. I don't know.
I think I'd go back in time to my really early childhood when I lived in Florida and watch what happens and walk around and enjoy the early '80s.
Yeah, I'll have to think about it.
I think the petty thing I would change is I would tell him not to leave the Heartbreakers.
Oh, did
Jesus
Tom Petty
Christ.
leave? Yeah, I guess he did leave the Heartbreakers, didn't he?
Yeah,
Very petty thing.
unfortunately.
Also, a question. This is the final question from GDC, Lisa, and then I have two questions for you, which hopefully are a little bit more fun and we can get into it a little bit. GDC says, when you do grocery haul videos, are the fruits and vegetables just props?
No, they are not props. I actually buy them and consume. But like, I'm not very good about eating my vegetables. So
Well, keep in mind, GDC's diet is literally like protein powder and twin snakes. Like, he's got the diet of like a 6-year-old. So really, he should not be taking shots here. And second thing, Lisa, your food haul videos are unironically the most entertaining part of your YouTube channel. I distinctly remember this was like probably 3 or 4 years ago. You made like a fall/winter, I think it was a Walmart haul where you bought like three kind of fucked up seasonal specialty ice creams. And I was like, man, who the fuck buys this shit? It was like fucking pumpkin spice and like cookie batter or something. It was just really funny.
oh yeah, I really like the pumpkin flavored ice cream. Unfortunately, they didn't carry it this year. But I do intend to raid Publix again and get some eggnog ice cream.
Before we move on to my questions, Gilmore, do you have any questions for Lisa?
It's funny. She may have accidentally just answered my question. I was going to ask, what's the best thing you've ever bought at the supermarket?
Oh, at a grocery store. Oh, gosh. Uh, probably prime rib,
Oh my God.
but that's only like maybe once or twice a year,
I think
like at Christmas.
my special treat at the grocery market is usually like ginger root or something.
What does that taste like?
Never tried it. Anyway, so a couple questions from me, Lisa. Now this is an important one. I think you could take this in a couple directions with a couple different answers, but I'm curious where you go. I say, you make song covers on YouTube. People might not know this, but you've covered hundreds, if not thousands, of songs at this point. What was your
I wouldn't
favorite
go
song
that
to
far.
sing? What was your favorite song to sing? And do you remember the Bastiat rap?
Uh, let's see. My favorite songs, I think, was doing "Cousins" by Kanye West. I enjoyed doing that. It's only in the short form though, because it's a short song.
Okay.
You know, the one where he and his cousin were doing things they shouldn't have been doing when they were really young.
I'm not familiar. I've never been a huge Kanye fan, so or a big
That's
rap fan in
surprising
general.
since you're kind of fascist adjacent and everything. But they,
What the
that's
hell?
all right.
That's messed up. He's not adjacent. Come on.
Okay, I was just being polite. Yes,
Okay,
you're
that's fair.
fascist.
Okay, thank
But
you.
yeah, you're welcome.
Do you remember the Bastiat rap, Lisa?
Oh gosh, I remember parts of it.
But you remember doing it and singing it, or should say rapping it.
Yeah.
All right, Lisa, this is my final planned question for you. We can certainly get into other topics, but I'm just curious. It's probably been what 6, 7 years since we met in the Bastiat community, and we were there for a long time. I think I was banned 3, 4, 5 times. Pepper was banned 3, 4, 5 times. But what was your all-time, or what is your all-time favorite Bastiat moment?
When he read my story on the air, I
I
really
thought
liked
you were going to
that.
say that. I thought you were going to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, that meant a lot to me.
Wait, what story? You gotta tell our audience.
I once read a story about him staying on too late, and his wife got angry at him and came and picked him up and carried him away. Um, he was on a 30 viewer Andy panel, is how I phrased it, and I had jokes involving people that you probably never even heard of, um, like let's see, there was Mind Waves. I don't know if you remember him, uh, and Touring News and um, Lecture Fan, and of course Pixie. So at the time there was like a meme going around that Mind Waves didn't like to hear women talk, and um, so I kind of elaborated on that, and that was the whole story.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you letting us know.
hmm
Lisa, that's all that we plan to cover tonight. Anything else you want to talk about?
Um, I'm not really sure. Well, I guess I could talk about the SNAP issue if you want me to.
Well, this is my angle on it. I think I'm glad that you have your benefits back, but I was trying to convince some other people in the Discord, or I guess in another server, that me being very far right, yeah, I'm very happy that we came to a deal with the Trump administration. That actually pleases me. But I would think if I was a Democrat, I would stop wanting to be like a cuck all these times over and over again, and just like bending over backwards. Like they just came and made a deal and got really nothing for it. I mean, I think the Trump administration was actually looking pretty poorly during the shutdown. Hosting dinners and demolishing the west wing of the or the east wing of the White House, whatever, and just he looked awful, and people were going to suffer. I understand that, but it was disproportionately going to be people that suffered in red states, which really makes me upset. We want to take care of our voters, but you think if you were a Democrat, you would say, let's hold out for another 6 weeks and actually secure a deal on healthcare. I'm glad they didn't personally, because like I said, I really hope they don't honor the promise to hold a healthcare vote. I hope that the Obama subsidies completely disappear. So I just wanted to ask you, do you think that the Senate Democrats sold you out?
To a degree, yes.
Do you think it was worth it for your benefits?
No, not really, because I personally could have probably survived, but I not for me personally. I think I could have survived, but maybe there are people that actually were going hungry, and that shouldn't be happening in probably the world's most wealthiest country.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a resource allocation issue that we can agree to disagree on. Gilmore was one of the people that was kind of defending the cuckoldry of the Democrats, and I love to see it when people do this because, again, I want a very weak, beta, second-tier Democratic Party. So, yeah.
I just personally don't like when people like Lisa are let out to dry like that by the party.
Yeah, but Lisa
I want-
literally just told you that she could have withstood it and withheld it. So she's an example of what I was trying to say.
She said maybe.
I believe in Lisa's resolve. I think I believe in Lisa more than you, Gilmore.
Yeah, that's fair. But
I mean,
to be fair to me, though, I don't
shutdown's
know
over,
Lisa
but
well enough yet. So
Well, that's insulting. You're saying that you couldn't get to know Lisa well enough in the last 45 minutes to know that she has got resolve and you can't take her at her word. She literally told you that she could hold out.
that's true. She also said she could hold out for a little bit with the angry kids fighting her. So maybe I underestimated her.
mhm.
Lisa, we hope you enjoyed your time here. Gilmore, any final thoughts for our audience tonight?
Yeah, so we'll keep it short because we're kind of getting to the end here. Lisa, what is your hope for the final resolution of the war between Israel and Gaza?
I would like to see the. I think this is probably going to not be possible now. But I would like well, if it's a two-state solution, I hope that it would be like they could mutually go into each other's territories and basically be a one country, but they have um, a proper government for themselves, or at least if they did unify Israel-Palestine as a whole country, that they would make sure that there were people from both sides with an equal amount of ability to be able to legislate. And I think, of course, it should be it should be a secular uh, thing, because even though Islam and Judaism have quite a bit um, in common, there's a lot of there are like little nuances, especially. I wouldn't say so much among the ultra orthodox. They don't treat their women very well, I don't think. Uh, but not saying that the Palestinians are uh, don't all treat their women. Oh God, that sounds awful. But like what I'm saying is,
I think we get what you're saying. You
yeah,
want it to be like
there's women's
peaceful.
rights issues
Yeah.
everywhere.
I get
Lisa,
it.
I admit I don't get what you're saying. This Israel-Palestine topic is it's so boring to me. Israel should just fully expel all members of Gaza. It's enough. We're gonna have a third intifada in like 15 years, and they're gonna be killing Jews in the streets again, and people are gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, this is so terrible," and then the world is gonna still take Hamas's side. So I'm over it. It's a boring conversation discussion for me. I sympathize only with the Jews. All terrorist sympathizers need to get out and probably readjust their worldview. It's very sad to me.
Well, I mean, there are people that are educated over there. They bombed universities. Thorson just said that he had more questions if you wanted to, but I don't know how long you want this podcast to go.
No, I think we're about ready to wrap up. So anything else on the terrorist topic, Gilmore?
No, I think that's it.
And once
your
again,
answer, Lisa.
despite my I guess apathy or disdain, disgust for the issue and how long this has dwindled on, Gilmore, again, the G&G family and broader network is happy that your family got the hostages back. So we do appreciate that. yeah, I guess on that note, thank you everyone for listening to another episode of the Gohndim and Gilmore podcast. Check the links in the show description to see where you can find us. And also, we're linking to Lisa in this episode's description. You can find her on YouTube and her blog. Be sure to check those out. And join our Discord to interact with us and submit questions for the next show. As always, your support is much, much appreciated. Until next time, adios.
Bye.
Bye-bye.